caught people at work before that were like, yeah, I got my Rolex
That's
here.
the
And
worst.
I'm like, dude, you just don't know me well enough because I'm into watches and I know that's fake as shit.
And it's almost cooler if you're just straight up honest about it and be like,
Yeah,
by the way, like this is like made up of certain Rolex parts, but I like customized and modded some things maybe because I wanted to, or I just didn't have the money to make a full Rolex build from different parts and have the right parts, whatever it is.
I think a lot of decisions that people make around this is based on who they're around. And do you really need to influence people that much?
Yeah.
And if you do, then just wear the real thing.
There's so much more of an achievement and like good feeling on buying something, anything that it is, no matter how small, how costly, like anything that it is that you buy for yourself, than just like faking it. But at the same time, like if your mentality is I'll never get that and I'll never achieve that, you're gonna have that same mentality for the rest of your life. Like if that drive isn't within you at an early age, and you're just never gonna like buckle down to get something that you know that you want.
Speak to the kids, Felix.
Yeah, you're never gonna achieve nothing in life.
Listen, I think the problem with younger folks today is that they want the things that their parents have, but they want it without earning it.
Yeah.
Like you're not entitled to earn shit. Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. You got Mike and Felix in the house today. Today we're going to be discussing fake watches, right?
Yeah,
and
fake
like our
watches.
perspective on that.
There's been a lot of talks on the channel recently about fake watches, and also it's pretty hot right now. So we'll just have some good conversation around that.
Yeah, that's fair. Before we get started, you want to jump into like a wrist check?
Yeah,
all right,
of
what
course. Today I have the trusty Tissot PRX Powermatic 80. I'm not going to talk about the in-depth because I feel like a lot of people know about this watch. It's a beautiful watch, one of my favorite integrated. My personal favorite watch that I bought because it was outside the comfortable range of my first entry level. I think this is the third watch that I bought. And so I went from a $300 watch to a $725 watch retail, I think is what this is. And so it was just kind of like, I didn't even know I could spend money that much on a watch. And so here we are, we're 10 watches deep. But yeah, I love this watch. Reminds me of the AP Royal Oak, which maybe one day when I'm 30, 40, I'll be able to obtain. But for right now, this is kind of scratching the itch for me, and I love it. So yeah,
it's I love that watch. I recently, not to get too wound up in stories, but one of my buddies asked me because he knows I'm into watches. He's getting a watch for a good friend that's getting married, and said, "Hey, here's the budget. Can you go source one for me?"
Yeah.
And that was one of the ones that was on the list that I walked through with him. I'm like, here's 10 that I would get that were sub $1,500. And that one made it to the top 3.
Yeah, it's a beautiful watch. And I feel like for like the entry level kind of like, I want to say it's luxury, but just entry level getting out of your comfort zone watch, this is a perfect watch, and this is what I recommend for a lot of people too. And they recently released the I don't know if you've seen it, the rose gold with the navy dial.
Yeah, I did.
It's so nice.
Sick.
I almost bought it. I've run on the cusp of buying it, but I don't think that's the rose gold I want.
Awesome, man.
What about you?
I'm just doing the GMT BLNR. It was born in Batman. It's a Batgirl now. I got a somebody they actually didn't like the Jubilee, and bought it off of them brand new. They took it off their watch, and they went and did the reverse, and so they liked the Oyster, and so
did you keep the Oyster?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
You guys didn't do trades or anything?
Yeah. So I kind of like the Jubilee a little better.
Yeah. It looks good.
Are you looking for a watch winder, but you want something different? Well, you found it. It's the Enig Watch Bespoke Watch Winder. And this is the Impresario Series 6.
Is that pretty good?
As you can see, it holds 6 watches. They wind clockwise, counterclockwise, and bidirectional. And there's multiple speed settings depending on the need of your watch. The finish quality and build quality on this is top notch. It also has a fingerprint reader that can store up to 5 different fingerprints. And the best part is it uses silent Japanese motors. They are extremely quiet. And it also includes battery backup. That way, if your power goes out, you can still access your watches through the fingerprint reader. This is more than just a watch winder. It is a beautiful watch display case. It has LED lighting to highlight your watches, and this particular model has exotic wood with a piano gloss finish. Enig Watch Bespoke Watch Winders. The link is in our description below. Be sure to go check them out.
You want to dive into some?
Let's jump into some fakes. I'm sure wearing a Rolex is actually kind of fitting for this type of conversation.
This one's real.
Yeah, this one's real. Mine's real. But there's a lot of fake watches out there. So we're going to talk about kind of the reason why first. Why would people wear a fake? What do you feel like people who are buying fakes, what's the reasoning? What's kind of like when you're in your head and you're shopping for a watch and they're like, I could buy an authentic watch for $450, $500, but let me buy this clone for a Rolex Submariner instead. Like, what do you feel like people are thinking about when they're doing this?
We could hold a 3-hour session on this, but I'm going to condense, we'll cliff notes it. So I think if I compartmentalize that, there's probably tiers of people. So I think the first guy that would buy it doesn't know anything about watches and really doesn't care.
Yeah.
He just wants a watch. He's in New York. He got caught down a side alley. The guy opened his coat up and was like, "Hey, you want a Rolex?" And he's like, "Hey, man, this looks like a Rolex. It's $200.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to flex it as a Rolex." So that guy gets a pass with me.
Sure.
They don't give a shit. They're not buying it to fake people.
Right.
I'm okay with that person. The other person that bothers me is the guy that buys the fake Rolex and then flexes it as a real Rolex.
Yeah.
And especially as a watch, I've caught people at work before that were like, "Yeah, I got my Rolex here," and I'm like, "Dude, you just don't know me well enough because I'm into watches and I know that's fake as shit.
Yeah,
and it screams fake.
Yeah.
And I don't like that person because I feel like that's a lie.
So
I pegged them as a liar.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not just. It's just maybe not even a liar, just a non-genuine human.
Yeah.
Right. And so I'm not going to like you for what watch you have on wrist.
Mm-hmm.
Like I appreciate the $55 world timer that's on Amazon.
Yeah.
Just be genuine.
Yeah. Right? Be real about it.
So I have those. And then you've got the third tier that's kind of a hybrid in between. It's somebody that wants a watch for presentation purposes, but they're not going around saying, if you ask them, "Hey, is that a Rolex?" they would tell you it's not.
Yeah.
But they also wouldn't
not tell you.
They wouldn't stand out and be like, "Hey, I bought this super clone."
Yeah.
So I again compartmentalize it in like 3 different tiers per se.
I'm gonna throw in a fourth person category: someone who buys a fake Rolex or fake watch knowing it's a fake, and is going to like very enthusiastic watch people just for the fuck of it. Like, those are
see if I can dupe those people.
Yeah.
How smart are they?
Yeah, that would be the crazy type of guy who's gonna walk in and just to see what's up. But that does bring up a good question, right? Are the people who are buying fake watches fake themselves? Are these the type of people who are just obsessed with a fake persona, fake luxury? Like they want this ideal that they don't have. They're trying to come off as someone who they really aren't. And I feel like that might be who that type of second person is. They're buying a fake Rolex. They're trying to flex what's not theirs. Flex like they spent, the 6, 7, 8K on it, but they actually spent $500 at a shady alley in New York City. And I feel like there's something to be said. I have a statistic here. In 2011, a study that was published by Psychological Science found people wearing counterfeit items were more likely to cheat and lie. So it suggests that wearing fakes might be an actual subconscious behavior.
It's a red flag.
Yeah, it's a red flag. Yeah. So if you see someone with a fake Rolex at work, you'll be like, "Don't trust this guy."
If they don't tell you it's fake, you gotta pop them.
Yeah, you gotta tell them what's up. This begs the other question, right? When people are thinking about fakes, a lot of also people include homages, right? Like homage pieces and homage watches into it. I think we get a lot of comments saying like, oh, this is, even on the Sarbamba video that I released a couple weeks ago, they're like, this is just a fake Richard Mille. No, because a fake Richard Mille is going to say Richard Mille on it, and
That's
have shitty quality. I feel like Homage watches are bringing, yes, they have the look of whatever it is. Like you look at Steinhardt, right? They have the look of a green, Hulk. But it isn't. It's not saying it's a Rolex. It's not trying to get away with the Rolex. It has an open case back. So it's obviously not a Rolex if you know what you're looking at.
And they also too, like, let's take Steinhardt, because I have a bronze Steinhardt. I've never wore it. I bought it. I liked it. It was too big, and it was too much hassle to bring back. They also, like, a brand like that has other colorways that are not like in the Rolex line. Do they have one that looks like a traditional Hulk?
Sure.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. But it doesn't say Rolex on it. It doesn't have a crown on it. It's not like stealing and robbing from the brand. It's paying tribute to the brand.
Correct.
And there's a big, I think there's a big line in between. And I'll say this: I'm not knocking anybody if you do have a super clone. That's for you, right? And so I'm just giving my opinion on folks that take a super clone and then try to dupe their friends, because then you would want to ask yourself, are they really friends? Do they really? If you give a shit what I have on my wrist so much that determines and defines our friendship, you're not a friend. And you need to find a different set of friends. If that's what you're doing, hopefully we can impact you.
We just affected you. Therapist Mike here.
And I went down a rabbit trail back to homages. I think that good ones, there's a lot of good ones out there, and I can appreciate that. I think there are Seiko mods that I see with Explorer vibes to it.
Right.
And I think there's a craft to that.
Sure, absolutely.
Can I get these hands, can I make this thing look as close to a Polar Explorer as possible, but it's still a Seiko and it says Seiko on it.
Has a Seiko
I dig those. I would buy one.
I think those are dope. So I feel like we're on the same agreement, right? Like Homage watches are very different. I'm sure they may share characteristics. They may look similar from afar, but once you really get to talk to the person who's wearing it, they typically also, a lot of the times, they're actual true enthusiasts who just maybe enjoy a higher end watch but can't find that budget to buy that watch right now, but they want the look.
Maybe they want a salmon dial and they want that look. And I think my hang up is, like, if you're not posing as, then I'm fine. You're not posing as that's a Rolex, or you're not I keep saying Rolex. There's so many other.
Sure, that's just one of the most popular fake watches.
Rolex super clones are big, but like AP is too. Patek. And so I know we recently looked at, you had the quiz, and some are crazy good.
Yeah, I know. There are some really good fakes out there. I would call those super clones, and that's scary, but it's also goes back to, like, if you're buying those type of watches, you're a specific type of person. Yeah, and even though we may not be able to tell unless we open it up and look at the movement, the person who's wearing it is going to be able to tell. You're always going to know.
Feel guilty?
It feels
gross
yucky.
Inside. Yeah, like.
It feels nasty.
Yeah, like, hey Felix, check out my.
Yeah,
you open it up and
totally
it's got
authentic
like a
Rolex.
Yeah, it's got a Seagull 1963 movement in it.
Just
nothing wrong with the movement,
anxious.
love it, but
it's not a Rolex.
Yeah.
Also, I want to add in there too, like, how do you feel about the franken watches then? Like the watches are like 50% maybe authentic, but also 50% maybe inauthentic in some ways.
I think where I gravitate to having a problem is when you have, because I've seen Frankenstein using bezels. I'm okay with that because I think some of the Seikos do that.
Yeah.
But when you stick a dial on there that represents and poses as a Rolex, I have an issue with that personally.
Yeah.
Again, like, if you're out there building Frankensteins and that's what you love, and it's a true craft, and there is art to
for sure
building
a
mods.
watch,
and that's good for you. But, like, don't tell me it's a Rolex.
Yeah.
Don't try to persuade me.
Yeah.
That it's something it's not, because I'm gonna call you on it.
That begs the question though, like, is there ever a time when it's okay to wear a fake watch? Is there ever a moment in life, career, traveling, whatever it is? Now we'll save the bigger conversation, which is where people believe wearing fake watches while traveling is safer. We'll save that for Patreon. We'll have after hours over there. So if you're interested in hearing that take, go over to Patreon. But is there ever a time to wear a fake watch? You know, like, or honestly, fake goods in general, fake luxury items. Do you feel like there's ever an appropriate moment for that?
It depends. And so I would go back to the tiers. If you're the person that's not posing that this Louis Vuitton bag is a real Louis Vuitton bag and then arguing with people on it, I don't have a problem with that. Weird scenario. The only time I would say, yeah, wear a fake watch is if you're like an actor and you're going to fuck it up in a movie. You get a wrestling match.
For sure.
You know? Yeah, wear it, or you're a YouTuber and you're going to tear it up.
Yeah, for a video.
For, you know, clickbaiting.
Right.
Those are the two that really stand out in my mind. Outside of me just like rocking one, I don't think, and we'll get into that in the after hours thing, but I don't think even travel was appropriate.
Yeah. I will say there's only one time where I feel like, I think the things that you mentioned are good. Those are appropriate times to wear fakes. I think there's also another where it's you have the capability, you own the watch already, and you know you're going to wear something as a daily. You don't necessarily want to get it beat up because you're going to do some type of, let's say you're going to go skydiving, you're going to go swimming, and for an extra amount of time, you know you're going to beat up your watch, right? Like whatever it is, your activity, you own the watch, but you also own a super clone of that watch just to throw around and beat up because you still want to have fun with it. I think that might be the only time that is appropriate because I also understand that from the perspective of sneakerheads. Like we'll buy a $300, $400 pair and then you can buy a $100 knockoff that looks very close or similar to it. The only problem that I have is as long as you're not doing it every day, right? Like you're just going to work or you're going to go to a coffee shop. You want the look,
but you don't want to jack the value of your
value of your watch, or your sneakers. So there's definitely a little bit of gray within that, but I think that's the only time that I would be okay. Like you're not fake, you're not faking a flex because you do own it, right? And you can't afford it, and it's in your possession. You would rather keep it safe.
You're keeping the quality of it. And my argument back that if it's a watch, so a watch specific, and if you're that big of an enthusiast that you have it, and then you go to buy a super clone, just buy a banger. Just go buy a Datejust or something, you know. And again, I'm talking Rolex, but like if you have your grandfather's Datejust, I mean, you're already gonna spend a couple grand. Just go find a different Datejust. You know, like
that's true. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Datejust. There's no sentimental value there. Or go buy an Oris. Go buy something like. Again, I think a lot of decisions that people make around this is based on who they're around, and do you really need to influence people that much? And if you do, then just wear the real thing. And if you feel like you need to do that to impress upon in a job interview, or like just be your genuine self. I don't think it's worth to anybody to go put yourself in debt to buy a watch to be around a certain group of people for a status symbol. The people I put myself around, they don't give a shit if I have a G-Shock on or if I'm wearing a $200,000 AP. In fact, more than 90% of them don't even know. I'll get a watch and have dropped $15K on it, $12K on it, and they're like, oh, cool.
It's the same as like the whole like homage around wearing a flex, like buying something for a flex for the sake of it, even if it's authentic, right? Like you don't really, it's not that you appreciate the watch or you appreciate the history or the, you know, when people buy the black sub, there's two types of people. They think it's an iconic watch and they understand the history and legacy around it. The other people are like, this is the most like notorious Rolex. Like I want people to know I have a Rolex on my wrist.
They're retiring. That's all they know. It's a household name.
You
know, it's a doctor that his wife got it for a present.
Exactly. And I think you're already running into like two different types of people. Both are acceptable purchases as long as they're authentic and real. You're allowed to buy whatever you want to buy. But the person that I would rather talk to is the one who understands the reason the Rolex is so iconic.
That's fair.
That's the fun person to talk to. That also leads into the other thing. Are the people who are buying fakes in the industry, are they just jealous of people who can't afford luxury goods?
I think a lot of it goes back to, again, intent. Did you buy it because you're so pissed off that this watch that you genuinely love is $200K? I think there's an allure to things that, a natural human allure to things that you cannot obtain or that are hard to obtain, that you want them more. Right? And then in some folks, it creates, and I'm getting again, Dr. Phil here. In some folks, it creates jealousy.
Yeah, for sure.
Because they don't have drive, right? For folks like us here on the channel, I know you have drive. I do. Jason does.
Yeah.
We'll go figure out how to get
Correct.
Get this son of a bitch. I'm like, dude, how many photography sessions do I need to add up to like create enough revenue to buy that?
Yeah.
If I want to buy it, I did that with my Bronco. I've wanted Broncos for the last 15 years, and got sticker shock when I saw how much they were.
Yeah, they're crazy.
But it's literally was like my dream vehicle.
Yeah.
And so I found the means to make it happen. I said, I can technically afford it. Here's what I'm willing to cut, and here's what I'm willing to do to get
that
the additional revenue that I need to make this.
Right.
And that's drive. And so I think there is the person that does that, and there's the person that's a hater. And they're like, dude, I see Felix over there rocking this Calatrava, and I can't afford it. And I'm just shit on that. I'll go buy one. And then they still walk around bitter. They still walk around with a chip on their shoulder. I'm like, you got a fake ass watch and you got a badass attitude.
Yeah, exactly. And they're gonna flex it on you and be like, by the way, look what I got the other day.
Look what I got.
Hey, congrats, man. Yeah, good
That's
for you.
That's awesome, man. I didn't know you could do that on a Subway salary. But good for you.
But hey, congrats, man.
Yeah.
You had to pull a mortgage or something?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, maybe.
You got a HELOC to get it. Whatever.
No, once you know that someone is wearing or fake or having that type of attitude where it's like, oh, I can't afford this, and therefore,
and then they act. There's the other piece too. They act better than you.
Yeah, they act.
They act like they are God's gift to the world with a fake ass watch on, and you just want to be like, dude, let's just call it what it is. You're bitter because you don't have drive.
Yeah, exactly.
But being lazy, go get the fucking real thing after that.
You're hitting it exactly like that. It's like, dude, just do it yourself. Like, there's so much more of an achievement and like good feeling on buying something, anything that it is, no matter how small, how costly, like anything that it is that you buy for yourself, than just like faking it, you know? Or like, it's like telling someone that you bought a mansion that you're renting on Airbnb for the weekend. I'm like, how you feel satisfied for what, 3 days? But how guilty do you feel when your friend's like, hey, can I go to your mansion and, we're gonna throw a house welcoming party? And they're like, oh, sorry, the roof is collapsed, Like,
right, yeah.
Making all this shit up.
Yeah.
Little faker. You don't want to be like that. You don't want to be around someone like that. And it's just like that type of person just almost like sucks the energy out of you because they're always wanting something, or they're always angry.
They're pissed at the world. They hate everybody, hate everything. And it's because, again, my theory is they lack drive to move them forward. You look at the most successful people that are either in your life or in this world, they have some propelling thing that pushes them forward every day. That person typically is, I just want to hang out on the couch, but I want to have something. I want a Calatrava on my wrist.
They don't want to put the work into it. And I also, like what I was saying earlier too, is like there's definitely, I know I said it's a younger crowd mentality because it's typical. Most young people just don't have the money or the means to buy something. But at the same time, like if your mentality is I'll never get that and I'll never achieve that, you're gonna have that same mentality for the rest of your life. Like if that drive isn't within you at an early age, and you're just never gonna like buckle down to get something that you know that you want.
Speak to the kids, Felix.
Yeah, you're never gonna achieve nothing in life.
Listen, if you want to watch 4 seasons of Sesame Street,
do it. Is
do it.
Is that what the kids are watching?
Stay up all night. Get up.
Do it. Get it done.
Get up the next day and go to school.
You hear that, Max? I'm talking to you in the future. But yeah, like you need to buckle down, like lock in, and just get what you want. Get what you want. It's gonna take time. Like I'm in the understanding. I'm 25 years old now. Like there's a lot of things that I want in my life, but I'm not gonna get it tomorrow.
So you just made a really good point. And this, I love this subject. So you just said it takes time, right? I think the problem with youth today, right? When you said that a lot of
old when you say that, but
youth today. We'll get my cane when I leave. I think the problem with younger folks today is that they want the things that their parents have now in retirement, but they want it without earning it.
Gen Z especially.
Yeah. Even like my kids' age. Like, they expect to come out of the rip making what people have been making for a while. And I have to educate them all the time. Like, don't you go in that interview and ask for that. You're stupid.
Yeah, it's
you need to earn and work up.
And I will add into, and this is still, I would say it's part of the conversation. I think the whole idea is this facade of social media, right? Like that feeds into my generation and younger, where it's like you see people flexing the nice cars, the nice watches, the nice clothes, the nice bags, and like making all this money. The expectation is, I'm their age, I can do that too. I want to do that as well. And so then you go to the door and like, hey, I want $75K just because I exist, like you need me in your team. I'm driven, I'm devoted. Okay, then start at 47.
Show me.
Yeah, start at 47, work your way up.
And how do you know a lot of those influencers, that are influencing these people aren't like wearing fakes?
Wearing fakes, yeah. Most of the time they are. Most of the time they are. I can appreciate a young man who, I know a lot of good guys who have worked hard, who have, a mix of skill, luck, and just drive, right? That's what it is, a mix of those three. And they work hard for what they have, and they get to obtain and buy those things. But just wearing a fake and getting by just like trying to gratify yourself, you're hurting yourself in the long term, We'll talk more in the after hours episode, where what exactly does it look like when people are saying, I want to wear a fake because it's safer on my wrist while I'm traveling or whatever it is. I think we have a lot of
some good stuff on that.
Perspectives on that. So we'll see you on Patreon for that part of the episode. As far as today, thank you guys for watching. I think there was a lot of here that you guys can dive into. Please let us know how you feel as well. I'm sure there's some things that maybe you guys feel different about, or maybe we're spot on. I feel like in the watch enthusiast world, what we're saying is pretty accurate, but there's other people who maybe are just into watches lightly and are like, no, you guys are wrong. Whatever. Let us know how you feel. We'll get back to your comment down below. And for now, we'll see you on the next episode.